Welcome to your Daily 5 for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. I really did not expect to be doing another 5 about the Vision Pro headset, which honestly is a piece of hardware that I have no interest in. But what is intriguing me about this thing is not the hardware and the platform, none of that. It is the way that Apple is handling the marketing and the promotion of this thing. So I did 1.5 where I was talking about how I was confused about what the ad that Apple's already put out, the Get Ready one. It didn't seem to make any sense. I didn't really know what it was trying to say, and that I wasn't sure how the Super Bowl marketing was going to look for this. But now there is a second round of promotion that came out right before its launch last Friday, where certain people were giving a limited preview with the headset. Outlets like The Verge, I think Engadget, some other ones, and influencers I'm sure too. I haven't seen them all. And this was basically a controlled session where they were brought in. An Apple photographer was the only one allowed to take photos of the session, and those were then used for the publication of their articles. And I saw a Wired article, which I'll link here, that says something along the lines of, this is the one thing about the Vision Pro that Apple doesn't want you to see. And when you read that article, what you'll notice, and I don't think I even noticed this till Wired pointed it out, is that none of the photos show the battery pack that is attached to the headset. Now, when Apple initially launched this thing, they also obscured to an extent the fact that there's a second head strap that most people will probably need to be able to wear this for any amount of time. And these photos obscure a battery pack that you can find pictures of on Apple's website. And initially you might think, well, yeah, they want to show off the headset as if you can just wear it. But that's a bit odd to me because, again, you can find photos of this battery pack already. I mean, don't get me wrong. Maybe it's just that they don't like the way it looks. It's not particularly pretty, but then again, they still sell that AirPods Max headphone set, and that's one of the ugliest things I've ever seen, and they don't seem to have any shame about that thing. So it's more as if they're trying to sell the idea of this, and again, with this Get Ready commercial, this idea that this is just a headset that you could put on and sort of think it's self-contained. That doesn't make any sense, though, because you would have to know there's a battery pack for this thing. There's no way it could work without it. This is clearly a Gen 1 device. You can see the cable in some of the photos. You just don't see the battery pack itself. And honestly, the people who are initially buying this thing, because it's already sold out its first whatever run of orders, however many it actually is, there's dispute on, but they've cleared out what they wanted to initially. And there was never any doubt they were going to, because the people buying this right now, don't forget, this is a $3,500 or north headset that is Apple's first attempt at this thing, where they've already removed some features they said were going to be in it because it is a first-gen thing. Those people were going to buy it no matter what this thing could have had a steel mesh cable that came off it and had to attach to your spine through surgical incision. And these people were going to buy it anyway. These headsets are selling to the Apple diehards right now. And they were always going to. There's never been any doubt that these things were going to sell out. Yes, partially because Apple's limiting how many there are, but also because there is a large pool of people out there who will pay any amount to have the first thing that Apple does of any category. Many people have made an analogy, I think it's a very good one, that this is basically the VR, AR headset version of the first iPhone. That it's limited, it's going to have some problems, but that people are going to look at this thing, flock to it, and eventually it may be a transformative product. And I think that's probably pretty fair. So that makes it even more confusing to me the way Apple's handling this. I would almost believe, if I didn't know better, that Apple had outsourced the marketing of this to a company that wasn't familiar with how their products are launched, because it just doesn't feel like Apple. And maybe that's reflective of the fact that there's been a lot of reporting for a while now that inside of Apple, not everybody looks at this headset as the best idea that the company's ever had. I guess, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's more like Apple doesn't know how to position this thing, which, again, for all my complaints and criticism of Apple, usually I don't have a problem understanding what their messaging is. I may have a problem with the message itself because of how true or not I think it is or how it's being positioned, but I generally know what Apple's trying to say. And this is the first product that I can think of in my lifetime where I'm not clear on what Apple's message is. Does it seem like that to anybody else? Am I the only one who's seeing this marketing and finding it kind of bizarre? Just not focused, not Apple-like? I don't know. I'd be curious. Those listening, you let me know what you think, because I'm looking at this stuff and I can't make sense of it, and that doesn't feel like Apple to me. Later.